This is Pure Vincy on Sweet Radio SVG, and as you know, in Pure Vincy, we look at the sound and the soul of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, whether it comes from fancy in the north to Union Island in the south. It's Pure Vincy, and we love to feature it. My guest on Pure Vincy this evening is from Union Island in the south, go figure. It's none other than Wetty Beatz. Wetty, welcome to Pure Vincy and welcome to Sweet Radio SVG.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I go already.
It's an honor to have you,
Yeah,
Wetty.
yeah,
There's
man.
there's so
Hmm.
much to you, and I'm looking forward to touching on at least some. I doubt very much that we'll get through all of Wetty Beats, but I'd love to be able to share some
No,
of
man,
Wetty.
we'll get much as possible today, as much as possible. You understand? So that's what we're here for. You feel me? So let's get it.
Back in the day, people knew you as Wetty B. They knew you
Yeah,
as Philip Demba. You are now
yeah.
Wetty Beats, known as Philip Bastian. Explain those changes to me.
Well, back then, right? So people used to call me from the get-go. People used to call me wet, and then they call me wetty, and then it moved from dirty wetty. And from dirty wetty because then I have my computer. I get my computer when I was about like 12 years old or so. And then I start doing stuff for me and my friends in school, like making beats and enjoying the moment now. And then one of my friends start calling me Wetty Beatz because then I'm making beats and recording for we and doing a little album and selling it to the teachers and them and thing in school. So then from there started calling me Wetty Beatz and just stick with that name until now. And
And
use it as
where did wet come from?
well, when there's a baby running around in a nappy and them and it always wet and thing because that's very cool.
Okay.
So people start to call me wet and then wetty and dirty wetty and because from where I grew up is never it's never no luxury life thing. We grew up in a small house and around it is a lot of thing. I was playing in the dirt, I was playing there and here. So yeah, I used to be a little dirty, call me dirty wetty. Yeah. From there that's how I go. That's where the original thing come from.
I want to dive in at the most recent end, and
Mm-hmm.
that's Glory to Soca.
Mm-hmm.
What is the concept behind that song?
Well, the whole concept behind Glory to Soca is basically highlighting my growth in the business, highlighting my growth in the business and the love and passion for the music itself. You know what I mean? And without me today as an artist and producer, engineer, singing, soca, I wouldn't have this life that I have now. You understand? I probably might would have done something else and wouldn't have had the success as I have now. For example, growing up in Union Island and in the Caribbean in general, like people could relate. It's a kind of tough one sometimes. It could be challenging, it could be tough because meaning for that is like there's not a lot of opportunities for we as a people. There's not a lot of jobs. There's not a lot of opportunities to get you out there and so you could have a perfect life. You live good and it doesn't have to be perfect to be honest, but for you to live proper, you know what I mean. There's not a lot of opportunities to reach this level because when you finish school, right, then maybe you go to college. You finish your high school, then you maybe go to college. When you finish college, what is there for you to do? Like unless you don't find something small job and do little jobs here and there, then to make ends meet is kind of tough. You know what I mean? So my theory is by this happening, you're finding a lot of out to do with things like robbery, people robbing people because they can't live above the needs, they can't live to how they want to live, so they have to get it how they can. So either people doing drugs to get the money quicker, or either people, robbing people, or even it turns out people killing one another, because it's tough and you can't get what you need, So my thing is I use music as a channel to get away from all this and soca in specific, because that's the genre that I love. That's what I do, you know. So I use this as a way to channel myself out of this whole situation, and it's been successful for me so far. So I'm really happy for it. So that's why the whole concept behind Glory to Soca came about. You know, I'm really happy for this, and I show people my growth growing up. So you know what I mean, make them to know I never, if they see me now and see, oh, you're doing good, you know, you have millions and Spotify, or your numbers going up, this and that. Don't think it was just the snap of a finger. No. I come from far. I come from a place where I grew up with. There's one bedroom with five of we living there. There's a one bedroom, it's just a two. It's even big. It's just one bed inside there. The part of the bed from the bed is the kitchen and living room, and kitchen and living room is the same size as the bedroom. So it wasn't even no big thing. So all we have to chunk up in there and sleep there. You see me? So
Yes.
it just show people like I come from here and I'm here now. I come from
Yeah.
there and I'm here, you know?
Because
That's
I
the whole
looked at the video and there's some very intimate and personal photos. And as you said, whereas you show your roots, you don't have too much on where you are now, except for the fact that wherever you are, soca is what has brought you there.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
some of the shots were just so deep and chilling and poignant that I don't know if to celebrate the song or if to feel sad. But I
Mhm.
suppose at the end of the day, it's a happy story because it tells of how you've transitioned through life.
Yeah.
So again, congratulations on all that you've achieved. You raised a very valid point in that you don't want anybody to think that where you are has always been where you've been. And we have a lot of youngsters in the business who look at where Wetty is today without understanding what happened in Wetty's life to bring him from where he was to where he is. And I'm not
Mhm.
just talking now about your economic circumstances, but from your early days as an entertainer and as an artist to a professional now producing for international artists and recording your own music, winning awards and things like that. What would you say has the journey been like? And what would you, I guess, what would you give as your teaching point for young artists getting into the business that you're in now?
Well, first thing I will say from the get-go, you have to know what you want. If you want to drop into this music business as you're doing it like for the passionate and doing it for the love of it, you have to know a couple of things. You have to know doing it for the love of the music itself will not pay your bills, right? And it will, and music is not cheap. Music is not something you just say, okay, tomorrow I just get up and go in a studio. No, you have to find the money to go in a studio. Studio time is a lot. Studio time worth a lot, you know? Going into the mixing and the mastering of the music, that's another problem. You understand? The marketing and the music, that's another problem. So if you just think that you're gonna come, do a song, put it on YouTube and then get famous, it's a totally wrong idea and a totally wrong approach to the music business. Because as long as you don't have a following, you don't have fans, who gonna listen to your music? How are you gonna get streams? How are you gonna get views on YouTube? How are you gonna recoup what you spent? You know? So if you're jumping into this music thing, you have to know first and foremost, it's a business. Secondly, it's a passion. Is either going for the passion part of it or you're going for the business part of it. But you can do both. You can do both, and by doing both, you live both worlds. You understand? You do it because you love it, and you do it as well because you want it to be a daily bread. And that's the most important part. If you can do that, that would be the most important part. You know?
Okay.
So for the up on, you know, the young and upcoming artists and little producers and who wanna get into this, you need to know that from the get-go.
You have had a lot of different high points in your life. As you said, you started at 12. You are now Wetty Beatz, perhaps one of the innovators of the Afro Soca beat and the European 2019 Soca Monarch. How have you evolved as an artist from the time you hit 12 years old to the time when you were disqualified from Junior Soca Monarch to today?
Well, to be honest, you know, I was already singing from 5 years old, and they would put me on the stage. between them big artists like Talpree, Fireman, Benjai, them guys when they come for Easter Valley Union, them man put me on the stage and I will, sing over them man's song and whatever, and crowd go wild. I started from there, but when I was about 12, I got my first computer. So then I started fiddling with programs and making music for my personal use and also for my friends around me. But in theory, I started from 5 years old.
Okay.
To be as an artist, I started from 5 years old and I go until now.
And how have you evolved over the years?
Well, when I was in school, I continued to do what I have to do, like produce for me and my friends, and then I decided to take it serious after. Then I took a backseat from the artistry and trying to be more on the productions, producing, just being behind the curtains, just doing the works behind the curtains. So, people didn't know the face, but they would just know, oh, Wetty Beatz production maker. They hear the logo, they hear the beats, they be like, okay, that's a Wetty Beatz, because they have a certain signature, a certain thing that you're looking for in the beat. I start from there. I get my first big boss on the production side from Lava Man with a beat called Muddy Job Rhythm. There was Matt Skull in it. There was Lava Man in it, and then the trend just follow. A whole heap of other people just asked to go on the rhythm, and I was like, all right, jump on it. But it went from there. And from that bus, then every year people start asking for productions and how much it costs and this and that. And then I start, making my way from there. And then me and Static, who we grew up in Union Island, Static was my math teacher, and then he became my manager because then he was doing music as well, and he had a studio. So I used to, go by his studio most of the time, and we always doing some tracks and stuff. And then he moved to Trinidad after a while and pursue his studies, but also still stick to the music. And we was, working along over the years until, and as in in terms of the writing business now. So it came about where I start writing music for other people. So I started by writing music for like the likes of Mad Skull, Royal in St.Vincent, and other people around Sean McKenzie. And then I end up getting to Olatunji, like write one of his biggest hits today, Oh Yeah, and other people in between. Did a writer's tune for Marshall as well. And so it started to grow from there. And along the way, there was a lot of struggles and, things that you have to look out for. But I end up going past that very quickly, because then when you start taking it serious and you're using this as your daily bread, you don't have another job, using this as daily bread. Sometimes you don't get a production selling a month or something, or you don't have any placements, like people don't jump on the rhythm or this and that. And then after a while, everybody want to jump on it and they just keep doing that. So someone like me, I always looking to keep consistent and always keeping myself relevant. So I'll start a trend and then I will just leave it and go on to something else. So by the time people start to try picking up this trend, I already onto something else. You see? So I did that. And it just keep going. It just keep going until now I am now. I'm very comfortable with, how I'm doing it, because then the music for me itself keep bringing back a revenue for me. Other than doing production and stuff, I have a different revenue coming in, and I could just focus now on building beats, doing mix and masters, and stuff like that. During this whole time, I wanted to do my own things, so like mix and master my own music. So then I end up moving to France, thanks to Daniel Bastian. That's my adopted father. I moved to France. I speak French, yes. And I further my studies as a song engineer. It was in French. It wasn't easy. It was a tough one. So I had to do the whole thing, but you can't waste people money and you can't, let down people. So I had to get it done, and I got it done. I got my diploma, I got my degree in song engineering, and yeah, I made it out. And now I'm just focusing on this. After a while, I decided to, you know what? Let me jump back in the music thing as an artist and sing my own music because, sometimes you give somebody a song and then they ain't do the song justice. Like, you hear it a certain way and then be like, yeah, but I put so much time and effort into it and then it didn't even do anything basically. Just reach on YouTube, they don't do any marketing, they don't do nothing for the song and they just die. So I kind of was tired of that and I decided, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. So I started back in the singing thing when I think it's 2016 or so. When I bring out a song called Under Day, and then it just keep going up. I work with people like bring up Carbon, Jams, and a lot of other people in between. So I did a quite a bit of production for the Vincy market, and internationally I did a lot.
And within 3 years of you jumping back front stage, moving from backstage to exclusively backstage, to sharing your time backstage and front stage, within 3 years, you emerged as the European Soca Monarch. Tell me about that.
And, well, it was a kind of thing where, to be honest, back when you release music in St. Vincent, right? There's a certain stigma in the air. Like, over the years, people from the Grenadines, right, will live a kind of, it changed now, right? It totally changed now. But back then, people will live a kind of, I don't know, a dark vibe because when you release music, you waste your time. You do this, you go up to St. Vincent, you carry it to the radio stations, and them guys will be like, yeah, no worries, we'll put it on the whole thing. And then you never hear a song on radio. And it was kind of a thing where it started to get demotivating, like, why even I doing it? But then when you think out the box, it be like, yeah, but how come the man playing Cartel? How come the man playing Movado and them thing? That's because them song the big outside, so the man have no choice to play it on the radio. And then they decide, you know what? Let me do my music for outside. And let the outside people and them appreciate it. And then all of a sudden you see, you don't have to do anything. Man, just playing the music on the radio, music and play. And they say, oh, okay, that's how it works. So once you're from your own country and you're trying to do something, people don't look at you they take it as a joke. And then when other people pick you up outside and start giving you that, that praise, that, that valor that you deserve, then your own country start to say, boy, yeah, that's we, no, that's we from here, he from here. And then they start taking you serious. That is an aspect of the game as well.
Do you think that Wetty Beatz had an advantage because he's Wetty Beatz, sound engineer, qualified sound engineer living in France, over, say, Cleo Huggins, who would want to be a soca artist but doesn't have those kinds of resources and accomplishments that you have in terms of catering to an international market?
Well, I would say, yeah. To be honest, I would say I have a more advantage than, in this case, I will have a more advantage than, someone like, the name is just called, whatever. Yeah. I would say I have a more advantage because why? One, I'm a song engineer. Two, I have my own studio. Three, I don't have to rely on anyone to put out my music. There's a lot of different distributing companies and whatever you could use to distribute the music. So I will say I have the advantage. And when I put it out now, because I'm living abroad, then I could obviously reach people abroad very easily than, someone back home trying to reach people abroad. It's changed now, like in a big way, because you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have YouTube, Google ads, they have this, that. So it doesn't matter. If you release music, then as long as you have a budget and you can back it up, you could put money on that promotion and that thing, then you could reach people everywhere. But like from that time to now, I would say I would have a more advantage. And as well, people who don't know me but hear my music for the first time, because they don't know my origin, for example, they don't know I'm from Vincy, they go take me serious, like, oh, you're from France though, and singing this and that. But no, I'm from Vincy, but you just didn't hear and know I'm from Vincy. You feel me? And to give you an example, that song I sing, See a Family, right?
One of my favorites, by the way.
On YouTube. Yeah? Thanks. A lot of people was looking for this song on YouTube and when you watch the comments, a lot of people been looking for this song on YouTube and They didn't know. They thought it was someone else singing the song. They thought it was someone from some different country singing the song, maybe from St. Lucia or somewhere. That's a tell the mentality sometimes too. They thought it was from St. Lucia or something. And then they find this song and they be like, oh my God, I've been looking for this song so long. I didn't even know it's a Vincent singing this song. I was like, well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to just be unknown for people to know you.
One of the problems is people listen from a geographic perspective as opposed to a professional and talent perspective. They're not looking at the talent, they're looking at the origins of the artist.
Yeah.
You spoke about marketing. You speak about marketing a lot and how important marketing is to a person's success. And you rightfully said a budget is a very important aspect of your marketing. What would you recommend? I mean, I know you touched on it briefly, using social media more, but what would you recommend for people who don't necessarily have the resources and the network that you have?
Well, you could, try and reach out to, try and make as much links as possible. Yeah. As much links as possible to people from the outside market. For example, in St. Vincent, people have artists in general have the idea of you only have to release music for Carnival. And when Carnival done, it's back to square one. Okay, going to do something else. And then when Carnival come back around, and I find the next song. No, if you're thinking like that, then if you want to be an artist, it's the wrong approach. You understand? Music is not seasonal. Music is 360, 365. Music is all around. You just have to go, keep going, keep going, keep going. You understand? People tends to only want to release a certain kind of music too. For example, if they're doing soca in general, yeah, we're doing soca, we're talking about soca. A typical Vincy artist will want to do what? Write a song for like their community. Like they will be specific in it, like, oh, Baga people, let's do this, and Baga people, let's do that. Or, oh, country people, let's do it. Why don't say people in a whole just do it? So then other people could relate to it. You understand? If we once it's out to go international, other people could relate to it. You understand? And it's crazy to see, but they don't think like that. They think very small. They think inside the box. And when you're done, when you finish doing this song and you finish doing what you have to do, when Carnival done, where's that song? It dies. Go back to the drawing board. No, you have to go back to the drawing board and then you have to start over. Next year, Carnival come wrong, start over, find the next concept. How much of that you could pull out? How long you could do it? You see? So I just started to think outside the box. How to do music that could hit people different, hit different market, hit different places. You never know when it could be a hit. Look at this song, In the Water. In the Water, it doesn't have a melody beat. The beat doesn't have a melody that's going, but it's something that every other country could relate to because it's a wet fed tune as well. It have a dance to it. It have charisma. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things to why, and as well as marketing, because if I don't know if you notice, them guys more on the Trinidad side now with this song because they make some links down. And because of that, the marketing now, this person could put you onto this person, and that person could put you onto this person. The links on them is important as well.
But so what I'm getting from you as well is that for your writing, you have to almost think of yourself as making a theatrical production. It can't just be hollow lyrics. It has to be something that captures people's imaginations.
Exactly. You have to also have a concept where most people could. When I say that, I mean, for example, like my song, Glory to Soca, showing the growth of where I come from to now. That can relate to everybody because, you know what I mean? But people who in this age group now wouldn't be able to relate to something like bend down, cock up, this, that. No, because that's not, they already lived that life and now they're trying to live something different. So then they wouldn't pay no mind to this because they feel like, okay, yeah, but this outdated now. You know what I mean? They wouldn't pay no mind. But the younger generation that's coming up, they like that because the social media is there. So they could keep doing their thing on social media. They get followers, they get views, they get this, they get that. So they continue. Them kind of things as well make trends. Right? You do a song that make a trend. TikTok.
touched on a sore point. I think people are divided down the middle in terms of the content of soca and the direction in which it is heading. The bend down, cock up, the personal parts, the tutorials on what should be intimate business. What are your thoughts on that? As you know, there was a recent controversy with the Magical song. What are your thoughts on that?
Sometimes people tend to follow the flow, like go with the flow, because you will do a song that has so much meaning to it, a song that has so much thing. You know what I mean? It's so much ideas, it's rich with lyrics. You know what I mean? Raw talent, you know, and you just do that song. You take your time and you do that song, and that song doesn't matter. You market it, you do this, you do that. That song might go anywhere. But then you do a controversy song now, and because people like controversy, the song blow up and be big, big, big. You understand? Sometimes it comes down to people's personal preference as well, right? And I cannot blame them artists as well that go in for the controversy part of it, because by doing that, they also gaining a lot of followers. They gaining a lot of audience, a different audience that gonna know. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if people hate it, they will become your fan because they hate you. So they're listening to what you're gonna bring out to know if you're gonna bring out crap, to be honest. Yeah? And then they will listen to music, so they give you a listen, at least. So your haters are your best fans too. You understand? And this thing in general, I can't tell you people preference, like how they're writing the music. I can't give them wrong for how they're writing it and how they're thinking, because maybe at the time and point that's what's trending and they want to do something to capitalize on the trending situation, or they just have no more ideas and they just want to do something like this because I have no more ideas, so I just do this. I can't blame them for that, because sometimes people have writing block as well. For example, I could have a writer's block certain time, but the thing with me, when I have a writer's block, I just leave it. And I go, and it could be 3 months, 6 months down the line, I come back to it and say, let me see what I can find out. It'd be a different thing. It'd be totally different, because then you hear it come like it's new to you now, come like it's fresh. So then you have different ideas.
And this underscores the point that you were making about treating it as a 365 a year business as opposed to a seasonal business. Because if you're doing it seasonally and you have writer's block, then you take whatever comes to your mind, or you start scrambling for nonsense.
Exactly.
Whereas if you're writing, So I even though you're saying that you can't blame them for producing whatever they're producing because it's trending, I think perhaps there'll be more value to the songs if they were to approach it from the perspective of a year-long occupation as opposed to a seasonal occupation.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, because then you have time to think about it after. And it's not something that's going to rush, because, Carnival coming up, I have to find a song. No. You should have find that song last year.
Yeah.
And you should have 3 and 4 that song already prepared last year. You see? So, yeah, that's how it go.
You spoke about relevance and thinking outside of the box. How do you keep yourself relevant? You started with Afro beats, and then all of a sudden we were inundated and saturated with Afro soca. What got you into Afro soca, and what moved you away from Afro soca?
I would say I kind of saw it at a long time now. Like, you notice the African market, it start to get big. Like the trend is start to get big. So like, for example, man like Davido, when you listen to man like Davido, or you listen to a Wizkid, or you listen to them kind of music, you notice the music is not too different from soca, It's not too far from soca in terms of the rhythm, right? And it ain't gonna be too far neither, because at the end of the day, it's Africa. The roots is there, so it's some way along the line, you're still gonna find back certain elements in there and be like, okay, So with this happening now, I decided, you know what? Why don't I take their style of how they're doing it and try to mix it with our soca vibe and bring it. It in bound to be like the drums or the instruments, but it could be the way how we singing it. Sing the soca, the way how we have raw way of singing soca. You use that way and sing it on their beat, or mix the two beats together and then mix the two way of singing together. That's how I came out with Oye, for example, and stuff like that. And then I decided, you know what? I already see the Africans and them, like the whole diaspora, start to do music that hitting the wall. When they go in a party in Vincy, you hear they're playing, "Oh, you're looking for my Johnny," or this kind of music. And you're like, all right, so why not mix it too? That's how the whole idea came about doing the Afro soca thing. And then from there, I decided, you know what? Let me leave this genre now because everybody wants to do it now. So I got away from that, leave that, and I went over to doing other stuff, right? So I always try to be ahead. I was trying to be ahead, like take time, man. Take time to think about the kind of things and try to do some stuff. But I was trying to be ahead of the game. So by the time this trend saturated, I already did doing something else, and then I leave it, and then by the time they saturate, on to the next. And music doesn't stick one place. A new style come every time. It might just be a mixture of this and that, but a new style always coming out, right? Like right now, the trend is what? Amapiano. So you know what that means? Already mixing something with the Amapiano, so already trying to do, mix the soca with the Amapiano, not trying to bring it out because I realize now the Amapiano is taking over the world right now. So fall in line with this, and if this could bring me the Amapiano fans as well, and it's just a win-win situation.
So you always have to have your ear to the ground. It is not about just living in a vacuum. You have to have your ear to the ground. You have to be in tune with the people. You have to be in tune with what's happening, not just in your neck of the woods, but what's trending internationally, if you want to stay relevant and, as you say, stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's why you have to do it. Because if you just minding your own business and doing whatever and you don't know what's happening around you, then you're always gonna stick in the same bubble. And I mean, for some people it could be good to be in your own bubble, but then why not try to expand? Try and test different stuff and see what the result would be.
Wetty, in 2016, when you returned to the stage, you won awards locally in St.Vincent, Recording Artist of the Year, etc. You are 3 times Rhythm of the Year winner. You're the European Soca Monarch, first European Soca Monarch. Yeah, those are awards and those are things to be proud of. What is perhaps one of the biggest surprises of your career?
Oh, well, to be honest, that would be the first time I ever get, first time I hear my rhythm playing so much in every different party and this and that. And that would be the first time, with Gal Alone from Lava Man, from the time that bus and they playing everywhere in New York, all in there, here, Canada, all about. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, something happening now, And then I feel real proud from that time. And then every party you go, you're always scared, like, I'm going to hear it here, I'm going to get it here. And then boom, you hear to the cheese, that's great. And you feel, for me, I always feel like ashamed. So I shame, like I hear my own beat in a party and people getting on bad it. And I feel like, oh God, that's my beat, But after a while, you overcome them things.
You get over it. Yeah.
Yeah, beats in a party. Oh yeah, that's my beat. That cool. That's it.
And
but that was the biggest for me.
What moment. Brings you the most pleasure now?
Well, to be honest, I like to sit down on my studio and mix and produce music and write my music, putting it out there. I like to, now, I prefer just sitting down on my studio and do the kind of music that I think people would appreciate. And not just the younger generation, but people on a whole in general.
You have a lot to offer. You're a writer, you're a producer, you mix, you perform. Are you doing anything to transfer your skills or to help raise the next generation of Wetty Beatz?
Well,